Okay, here it is. We are going to start using Illustrator to diagram what it is we're communicating. That's part of what the third module is. Okay, so composition is not something that is super inherent to all people. So in doing so, from this point on, for the most part, all of these assignments are going to come with a diagrammatic exercise as well. Okay, so it would behoove you to pay close attention to this if you don't know Illustrator fairly well. Okay, so there are a couple things that we're going to discuss. I'm going to try and keep it pretty simple. We're going to look at just kind of lines and shapes, and colorizing and stroke type, all that kind of stuff, just to get you up to the point where you can create basic diagrams. Okay, so I'm going to start off with an easier one than this. Unfortunately, I think I set these all on the wrong layer. So if you're in Illustrator, notice how there's a little tab here, and if you hover over it, it's called Layers. Hang on, let me turn the lights down. There we go. Okay, so the Layers tab works just like Photoshop. Right now, I loaded all three of my images in there, but they're all on the same layer. So if I turn this off, all my layers turn off as well. So I need to create three of them. So I've got layer 1, 2, and 3. Layer 1 is fine staying as is. What I need to do is select the object that I want to change to a new layer, then click on the layer, then right-click on the object, and say arrange, and then send to current layer. So you have to activate the layer. All you have to do to activate a layer is just click on it. And then right-click on the object and arrange, and then set to current layer. So I can turn that one off now. And then my next image, I can go to layer 2, right-click and say arrange, send to current layer. And now I've got full control. Whichever one I want to turn on, I can turn on layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. Okay. What questions do you have? Okay. Let's see here. All right. So the other thing I want to go over with you real quick is lines. So your default user interface up here shows some kind of, I guess, default properties of graphic elements. They will pretty much stay the same when you switch to line, but other types of tools that you select, that bar will change and sort of show properties of other tools. So just bear in mind that when you're working with this stuff, when you're working with the regular draw tools, the toolbar up here is going to show you what the visibility of that particular item is. So we're going to have a few different things to consider. There's a stroke color and there's a fill color. So you're getting into the realm of vector graphics, where you have to deal with stroke instead of pixels. That's a very important difference. Stroke is based on physical size. Pixels is based on DPI, like how big the pixel is relative to the size of the image. So anyway, when you open that up, the default color palette has kind of your standard colors. You don't have to worry about it too much. If you stick to this, for the most part, we'll be fine. You can create new swatches if you click on the little notepad looking thing, and then you can just name them special names if you'd like. You can follow the crayon box color names if you want, which are a lot of fun. That's up to you. But for the most part, we're going to stick with really simple colors. Okay, we're not going to get super fancy. Any diagram you guys do should not have any more, especially for the first couple weeks, should not have any more than 2 colors. Diagrams are like super binary. You want it to be as simple as possible. The maximum you should ever include in just about any diagram you ever do in your entire career is 3. Unless you're doing something really, really fancy. Okay? So, anyway, we're going to stick with, I guess, let's stick with black for now. Black will be fine. We'll pick an image that's going to, actually, let's go with white. White is pretty elegant. especially because we're doing this over photography, right? We can use white lines which are going to sort of fall back behind the image, and they won't look like you kind of laid this thing over top of it, which distracts the eye. We'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, so we activate the line tool. Let's turn off this layer. I'm going to look at this image right here. And we're going to start drawing lines across the page. What you need to do is, as you hover across the page, you'll see that there are these guides that show up. So that's going to help you lock to particular, it's kind of like object snapping in Rhino and AutoCAD. So you can use that to rely upon the midpoint of the image. And it's going to show you that it's the midpoint of the image because it connects to the midpoint. So you click, drag, hold shift to keep it horizontal, and then drop it on the other side. Okay. Your line will stay selected after you draw it. So you have to hit pick a new tool, and it'll show like the adjustment bars and all that. But then click off of it and it'll turn it off. Okay? What questions do you have? None so far? All right, excellent. So the other thing I want to do real quick is look at rulers, because we're going to start setting up what the grid is for this particular image. So let's go to View, Rulers, Show Rulers. Okay, it's easy enough in the left to right, the horizontal axis, to know where we need to drop things. But what we need to do is figure out exactly where this image is, because it came in kind of, in a silly way, not cropped properly. If you guys wanted to calculate exactly the aspect ratio, you could, but I got kind of lazy with it, but it'll serve our purposes just fine. So we are 5/8 in there, and it looks like we're a little more than 5/8 in here. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/4. Oh, we don't have calculators on these computers. 7 1/4 divided by 3. Go. I should know this stuff. 2.4. So about 2.5 inches, little shy of 2.5 inches. We're going to go to 1, 2, 3, a little shy of that. We'll go there. And here we're going to go 1, 2, and that was there, right? There, a little shy of that. There. All right. So that's our rule of third line. It's approximated. That's fine by me, just because I didn't really crop it totally perfectly. So this line, again, make sure that guideline is staying. I mean, really, I didn't have to draw that right now. I could just draw a new one, and I could draw along the guide from the intersection point to the intersection point, and that'll be fine. Do another one here to here. And then let's go to View, Guides, Make Guide. I'm trying to think if it can be done the same way we did it in Photoshop. I don't recall. Guides. Yeah, I don't recall. Anyway, let's go to 11. I think it's going to be 3 3/4 or something like that. Yeah, 3 5/8. So we'll go to 3 5/8. It's there. That doesn't seem right, but 1, 2, 3 5/8 there. Yeah, it's close enough. All right, and then we'll draw our other axis going down like that. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to go to View. I'm going to take my guides and I'm going to hide them real quick. Oh, where'd they go? Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. Hang on. I had to redo something. Redo, and View, Guides, Show Guides. Okay, so one thing I forgot about that's a distinct difference between Photoshop and Illustrator. Illustrator's guidelines are actually objects. That's a very, very important difference. In Photoshop, you don't have objects per se. You just have like layers of things that are built out of pixels. But basically, you can select these guides. And it's not showing like it's selected. Why not? It's supposed to show. Oh yeah, it is locked. Thank you. Cool. All right. So basically, when you select these, it'll show a color, and that color corresponds to the layer that it's on. And so it's, in my opinion, a good idea to create a layer specifically for guides. So you can double click on that layer name, call it guide, select all of the guides that you're working with, and then arrange. And then, hey, oh, because I'm on the same layer, sorry. Arrange, send to current layer. There you go. Now they're all in blue. I can turn them off. Where did the other lines go? That's weird. Get rid of that guide. I don't know where my other lines went. Oh, I was creating guides, not lines. My bad. So anyway, line, I'm going to go from here to here. There to there. And from here to here. There we go. Okay. So, bit of a struggle, but I got there. So these are my rule of third lines. That's basically it for this one. I'm going to explain what I was doing with it in a second and start to talk to you about strokes and stuff like that. But what questions do you have? No questions. Okay. Excellent.